In our previous video, we have seen how to publish a dataset to EdelweissData manually through the web interface. In this video, we will look at how to do the same thing programmatically. We will use Python programming language because of its widespread use and because there exists a Python library that makes interactions with EdelweissData a lot easier and user-friendlier. For this demonstration, we will use a Google Colab notebook, which allows us to write the Python code in the browser and execute it in the cloud. Of course, we could do the same things in a Python script or a Jupyter notebook. I will not go through the whole code in detail, but would just like to point out the most crucial bits of the code. Before we proceed with publishing the dataset, we have to prepare the required inputs: a CSV file that contains our data, a JSON file that contains our metadata, and a description which is stored as a string variable. Now, after installing and importing the required libraries, we first use pandas library to read the Excel file with our dataset. The dataset contains multiple tabs where most of them contain metadata and one is used to store the actual data. Next, we extract the sheet that contains our data and save it as a CSV file. This CSV file will then be uploaded with the upload data command from EdelweissData Python library. Next, we prepare the JSON file that contains metadata. We convert column-based tabs from our dataset that contain metadata into a Python dictionary, which contains information in the form of key value pairs. This step is done by calling the prepare metadata function, but the details are not relevant here. It's important that the resulting Python dictionary is then easily exported into a JSON file. Next, we also read the text file that contains essay description and store it as a string variable. Okay, now that we have prepared the prerequisites, we can proceed with publishing our dataset. First, we have to connect with EdelweissData server, and we do this with two lines of code. First, we create an API object where we specify the URL to EdelweissData instance. In our case, this is the address, https://api.edelweissdata.com. And then we call the authenticate method on this object. Now that we have successfully connected to EdelweissData instance, we can start with the actual publishing of dataset. This is a multi-step process which starts by creating an in-progress dataset. This is done by calling a create-in-progress dataset method on the API object. This method returns a dataset object that will be used later for uploading individual components. First, we will upload data by calling the uploadData method on the dataset object. Here we provide a CSV file that contains our data as argument. Next, we call the inferSchema method on the dataset object, which tells the EdelweissData to automatically infer column names and column data types. We could also upload a schema file if we had one. Next, we upload the metadata by calling the uploadMetadataFile method on the dataset object, where we provide JSON file as an argument. Similarly, we also upload the description by calling the setDescription method on the same dataset object, and we provide the string with our description as argument. Okay, now that we have uploaded all the components of the dataset, we can finally call the publish method of the dataset object. And now the dataset is published to EdelweissData. This was a quick demonstration how to publish a dataset in EdelweissData using Python programming language. In our next video, we will see how we can access the published datasets. If you want to learn more about EdelweissData, please visit the edelweissdata.com.